It's that time of the year again, when we start thinking about food, family, and how we're gonna shape our little shredders into the mountain bike prodigies they're destined to become. And lucky for us, there are some pretty dialed youth mountain bikes on the market right now, ranging from single track ready balance bikes to pint-sized bike park sleds. So grab your favorite winter beverage and pull out your credit card, because in this video, we've got our top 5 youth mountain bikes that we'd buy in 2024. Before I dive into our choices though, let's pause real quick to talk about the criteria we use when choosing these bikes. Kids play hard and grow fast, and for that reason, we were looking for bikes that were robust and lightweight, but also value-packed, given that they may only fit your child for one season. And this trifecta of strong, lightweight, and affordable is pretty hard to find. To quote my dad, he'd always say when buying a bike, you usually have to choose 2 of those 3. You could get something that's strong and lightweight, but it's probably going to be expensive. Or something that's affordable and doesn't weigh much, but it might be kind of fragile. So in this list, we did our best to choose bikes across a variety of price and spec points to fit a variety of needs. But if none of these bikes on our list match what you're looking for, then let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to steer you towards the best bike for you. Now though, let's move on to our first award, which is the Best Balance Mountain Bike. And the winner here is the Kids Ride Shotgun Dirt Hero, which is available in both 12 and 14-inch wheel sizes, and that 12-inch bike lists for $340. The bike comes in at a pretty lightweight 8.8 pounds or 4 kilograms, and just by looking at it, you can see that this thing is designed to conquer fire roads and maybe even some single track. Both the 12 and 14-inch models use the same frame, and that means that you could buy the 12-inch bike and upgrade to those 14-inch wheels as your kid grows. Speaking of tires, the Dirt Hero comes with some 2.25-inch V Tire Co. Crown Gem tires. Now, these are pneumatic tires, meaning they fill with air as opposed to just being some foam kind of an insert in there, which means you can adjust them quite a bit to maximize grip for your child. This is going to be awesome for any kind of off-road riding, and as is the fact that the frame has a built-in platform underneath the seat tube with a knurled plastic top on it. This gives your kids a comfortable place to put their feet while coasting down single track or cruising through the pump track. Lastly, a huge highlight for the Dirt Hero is that it is disc brake compatible. And for an additional $150, you can get a Magura MT4 rear hydraulic disc brake. Hydraulic disc brakes offer more power with less force at the lever, which is perfect for young riders. And these Magura brakes in particular have a pretty wide range of reach adjustment, meaning you can bring that lever in pretty close to the handlebars if your kids still have shorter fingers. All of that makes for a pretty dang awesome bike, which is why we're going to have to give the Kids Ride Shotgun Dirt Hero 4 out of 5 goats. It's a lightweight, purpose-built off-road balance bike perfect for your favorite child prodigy, but you are going to have to pay for it. Costs about $100 more than comparable bikes, and that's not including the added extras of those disc brakes or the 14-inch wheel kit. But if you're looking for the ultimate single track slayer for the smallest rider in your crew, then it's pretty dang hard to beat. Let's move on now to our next category, which is the Best Rigid Youth Mountain Bike. This award is going to the Specialized Rip Rock, which is available in 20 and 24-inch models, and that 24-inch model costs $700 and weighs 23.6 pounds or 10.7 kilograms. The frame comes with boost-through axles front and back, as well as internal cable routing, and you even get a water bottle mount on there. In terms of geometry, it's got a pretty cross-country focused 68-degree head tube angle and a narrow Q factor paired with some short 140mm cranks that are optimized for pint-sized rippers. Moving on to the spec, the Rip Rock comes with a microshift 9-speed Advent drivetrain that has a clutch in the derailleur, again great for off-road riding, and an 11 to 42 tooth cassette in the back, which should make climbing up those steeper hills a breeze for your kiddos. Like every bike on our list today, the Rip Rock comes with hydraulic disc brakes. In this case, it's from a brand I haven't heard of before. It's called C-Star, but I'm sure they're going to be powerful enough to slow your kids down. Lastly, the Rip Rock comes with some 2.35-inch specialized ground control tires, which are a really good option for off-road riding as well as still riding around the neighborhood. All in all, we're going to have to give the Rip Rock 5 out of 5 goats. One thing we really like about it is Specialized's decision to not spec this bike with a suspension fork. Oftentimes, younger riders don't weigh enough to really utilize that suspension, and all it does is add more weight to the bike. So the fact that this guy comes with an aluminum fork and keeps that weight down pretty low, is a good call in our book. And while that $700 price tag is a bit on the higher end of the spectrum, we do still think it's a good value, considering that well-designed frame and smart spec choice that's on the bike. It should mean less time tinkering in your garage and more time out on the trail, which is what we all want. Now though, let's move on to our third category, which is the best youth hardtail mountain bike. And the winner here is the Forth X2, which is available in 18, 20, and 24-inch models. And the 24-inch model costs just $585 and weighs 27.1 pounds or 12.3 kilograms. Like the Rockhopper we just talked about, the Forth X2 does come with internal cable routing, but you're not going to get bottle cages on this bike. It's also got that same XC focused geometry, which should make it well-rounded, both for trail riding and riding through the neighborhood, with a 69-degree head tube base. Moving on to the part spec. And of course, the most noticeable thing that sets this bike apart from the others we've looked at today is that the X2 comes with suspension. It gets 80 millimeters of travel from an air-sprung Atlas fork with lockout and rebound adjustment. Now, I'm not super familiar with this brand Atlas. I've tried to look into a bit, and to be honest, I could only find information on it coming from the Forth Bike's website, but it's still pretty dialed that you're getting an air-sprung fork on this bike at such a low price tag. If you don't know already, the air spring means that you can further adjust that bike to fit your child's weight needs as well as their riding style, and it helps keep that weight down just a little bit. Moving on then to the drivetrain, and once again, we're seeing it spec'd by Microshift, but in this case, we're getting the Advent X group set, which has a 10-speed 11 to 48 tooth cassette and is not uncommon to see on bikes that cost thousands of dollars, let alone one that's just over $500. And the same can be said about the hydraulic disc brakes on this bike. Those are the Shimano MT200 brakes, which again, you find on much more expensive mountain bikes. Lastly, the X2 comes with some tires that I am not familiar with. They are the Bend Sender tires in a 2.4-inch width. So can't really speak to how well those will perform, but again, for a bike that's less than $550, it's kind of hard to complain. And that really sums up our thoughts on this bike, and for that reason, we're gonna have to give it 5 out of 5 goats. For the most part, you're getting an insanely nice spec for a very low price, but just keep in mind that Forth Bikes is a relatively new company and doesn't have a significant track record. But from the internet sleuthing that I've done so far, it seems like they're doing things the right way. Our next winner is for the most aggressive young riders looking to push their skills at a bike park, enduro race, or even downhill race. But before I announce what that winner is, if you're enjoying this video, take a quick second to go ahead and hit that like button, which will help other people find it, as well as subscribe to the 99 Spokes YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our weekly uploads. Now though, let's move on to our award for the best full suspension youth mountain bike. And the winner here is none other than the YT Jeffsy Primus, which is available in 24, 26, and 27.5-inch wheel sizes. The 24-inch bike weighs an impressive 27.8 pounds or 12.6 kilograms and usually lists for $1,999, but is on sale right now for just $1,599, which is a pretty killer value if you're looking to get a full suspension bike for your kids. Now, just like the full-size Jeffsy, this Jeffsy Primus is designed for aggressive trail riding and has very similar geometry and suspension platform as the bigger bike. Speaking of similarities with that adult-sized bike, the Jeffsy Primus has a geometry-adjusting flip chip located in the rocker link that allows you to change the geometry between two settings to better suit your child's riding needs. The bike also comes with boost spacing in the front and back, internal cable routing, as well as internal cable routing for a dropper post should you choose to install one, but does not have any water bottle mounts in that frame. Moving on to the part spec, and we'll start here with the suspension. Up front, you get the Machete Junit 24 fork with compression and rebound adjustment. And it's the same story in the back with the McLeod shock. The group set on the Jeffsy Primus comes from SRAM. You're going to get an 11-speed SRAM NX drivetrain with an 11 to 42 tooth cassette, as well as some SRAM G2R 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes paired to 160mm rotors. These should be more than enough to slow your kids down, even when riding aggressive lift access trails. Lastly, let's talk about the wheels and tires. And the Jeffsy Primus is going to come with some Sunringle Durock wheels with a 24-inch rim width. These are perfectly suited for the 24-inch Maxxis Minion DHF and DHR2 tires that have a width of 2.4 inches. Like the rest of the bike, these tires are more than enough to handle whatever abuse your kid can throw at it, and really, that sums up our thoughts on this Jeffsy Primus. It is a gnarly up for anything bike, and for that reason, we're gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 goats. We think that this robust frame and high quality components are likely to outlast your child's fit window and could be a great option to pass from sibling to sibling or friend to friend. We're also stoked that the Primus is available in 26-inch wheels, as that's the point where many kids start riding hard enough to require full suspension. Our only real drawback here is the price, but once again, that's not to say that the bike isn't worth what it's costing. It's just a bit hard to stomach paying that much for a bike that might only last your kid 1 or 2 seasons. But if your child demands the ultimate downhill performance from their bike, then this GFC Primus is hard to beat. The 5th and final award on our list of the top 5 youth mountain bikes is going to the best youth pedal assist mountain bike. And in this case, the winner is the Mondraker Play 24, which is available in 20, 24, and 26-inch models. The 24-inch model comes at an impressively low weight of 33.7 pounds or 15.2 kilograms and an impressively small price of just $2,479. The frame on the Play 24 has all the same modern standards and features that you'd expect on an adult mountain bike. Things like boost spacing, internal cable routing, as well as routing for a dropper post, and a water bottle mount. Like many of the bikes on today's list, the geometry leans more towards the XC category, making it a great all-rounder with a 68-degree head-tube angle. Moving on to the E-Drive system. And the Mondraker Play 24 is powered by a Molly X35 hub drive motor that puts out a maximum of 45 Newton meters of torque and is governed at just 25 kilometers per hour or 15 miles per hour. That means you as parents can rest at ease knowing that your kids aren't going to be ripping around the neighborhood at 30 plus miles an hour on their e-bike. That hub drive motor is one of the things that helps keep this weight down so low and keeps that frame looking nice and simple. The motor itself is powered by a 250 watt-hour battery that's integrated inside the down tube. At the front of the bike, the Play 24 has a 100mm air-sprung X-Fusion RL fork that features rebound and compression adjustment. It also gets that same 11-speed SRAM NX drivetrain that we saw on the GFC Primus, as well as some SRAM-level hydraulic disc brakes paired to 160mm rotors. Like we've seen on just about all of our bikes on this list, both that drivetrain and the brakes are the same thing that you'd find on a full-size adult mountain bike. And it's really cool to see Mondraker putting these parts on a youth e-bike. And that's just one of the reasons why we're going to have to give the Mondraker Play 24 a full 5 out of 5 goats. To be honest, there aren't very many youth e-mountain bikes on the market right now, and the Play 24 competes nicely against those other contenders in price, weight, and part spec. And with that, we've gotten to the end of our list, and hopefully you've gotten to the end of your drink, but not the end of your checking account. If you still have questions about any of these youth bikes, as well as any other youth bike on the market that you're curious about, you can leave those down there in the comments, and I'll do my best to find you an answer. While you're down there, don't forget to like this video, as well as subscribe to the 99 Spokes YouTube channel. And lastly, remember that bikes are for everyone. Merry Christmas.